Hello and welcome. This is Amanda with the Nerdy Krafter. I'm here today to paint another one of our beautiful stamp sets. This is the Birds of a Feather stamp set brought to us by Pajama Krafter Stamps. I absolutely love this set. I fell in love with it when it was sent to me. I think I went through and did about 5 cards with it, 4 or 5 different cards. So you will be seeing cards come out over the next few weeks with this image. But these little birdies really just spoke to my heart. So I'm going to go ahead and watercolor a few of these for you. Today, I generally love to use my Tombow Marvies for watercoloring. But I have fallen in love with these Lisa Horton interference inks, and they do a beautiful job watercoloring, add some wonderful texture, dimension, and some of that shimmer glimmer to it. So it just worked so well with this stamp set. All right, so let's get started and see what we have in store for us today. These are some of the inks that we will be using, so let's get playing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my laminated mat here. It does have a little bit of a shine on it. That's why I left it off for just a second for us. And then let's bring in our colors. So I'm going to be using the Lemon Candy Shimmer. I'm just going to use my mat here. And then this Ripe Mango Shimmer. Gorgeous orange. Absolutely breathtaking. Just add a little bit of that to my mat. Then let's do the Magic Garden Shimmer. We're going to then use the Peacock Tails. Get our rainbow order down here. And Lavender Fields. So these are a pigmented dye-based ink. They do blending beautifully. They are gorgeous. On both black and white paper. I did a little bit I used my black paper here for some ink blending earlier, and you can see how some of these colors just shine through gorgeously on the black. Each of the colors, so when you see these colors here, this left side is a color on white paper, and this right side is a color on the black paper. So it's very deceiving. You look at this and you're looking, oh, it's a blue on the white, but it comes out purple on the black. So kind of take a look at those, play with those. They are so much fun. Let's see here. All right, so today I'm going to be watercoloring with my Escada number 4 paintbrush. I love this paintbrush. It is fabulous for travel. You can just close it up, and it's great to put in your travel bag. It keeps your brush nib from getting messed up when you're putting it in your little travel bag. So this is one of my very favorites. I'm going to activate it first by putting it in my water and swirling it around, making sure I get all of those air bubbles out. I just use an old medicine bottle for my water. Then I'm going to take it, I'm going to pinch off all that water. The first time I did go past the metal when I was dipping it into my water. After this, I only go up to the bristle and about halfway on that bristle. So I don't ever go up past that as I'm working further into my colors here. So let's go through. I'm going to start with his little beak. I'm going to add just a tip of water. I'm going to pinch that off. This is a dry technique of watercoloring. We use very little water, very little ink. So I'm just going to pick up just a small amount here. And I'm just going to tap this in for his beak. Let's get that beak to pop out. So our face area is going to be the lightest area. Clean that brush off. Now I'm going in with some yellow, so I want to make sure I really did get that brush cleaned off. I'm going to grab my yellow. So again, the face is where the light's going to be, where you're going to see the most expression. So either leaving it white or using a light color, like the yellow here. I'm just coming in with some water this time. So I've already put down some color, and I'm just bringing in a wet brush to help move that color around. So there's a couple different ways to add colors. So you can either come in and do kind of a brushing or a flicking technique. That is great for feathers or fur, or you can do a pat or tapping technique. So we've just added a little bit of color here. I'm going to just go back in one more time. So it looks like it's got a lot of pigment in person, but the camera does not always show a lot of it. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more for the camera's sake. And let's go in and pick our colors. I am really loving this lavender, so let's come in with the lavender first. I want to make sure that I get some into my tail feathers here. Just flicking those in. It's okay to leave white on watercolors. I know it's scary. You're like, no, no white. But yes, white is okay to leave and add. I'm coming in and I'm just adding some of my highlight areas. So the artist has given us some beautiful lines showing me where some of the darker areas might be because of the folds of the feathers landing on top of each other. So I'm just coming in and I'm going to pull in this beautiful, beautiful purple and shading in some of those darker spots. Come up to the crown. There will be more light coming in from the crown again, so not too much dark up in there. So I've just laid down some of my lines here, laid down where some of those darker areas are at. I'm going to come in with my turquoise now and just come right along those same areas, blending those two beautiful colors together. Extending my lines just a little bit. I'm not trying to do an even blend. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous little bird with all these beautiful colors. I don't know what kind of bird it is. I'm just imagining this is what the colors that are speaking to me. For those of you that know me, purple and turquoise are probably my two favorite colors. So most of my projects will have some of those colors in them just because they are the ones that speak to me. But honestly, you use the colors that speak to you. I'm here just to give you a little bit of inspiration, show you a few little techniques, but I want you to make this your own. You go through, you find what colors you have in your stash, your supply. You do whatever color. So if you love oranges and pinks and purples, you use your colors. Find out which ones speak to you and just add those in. Again, I'm using kind of a cross between a tap and the flick. Adding that texture in. So now as we look, more of that texture is building, but we're still seeing some white in there. I'm going to come in with this beautiful green. We're just going to fill in some of those areas. I pinch off my brush in between every time when I pick up a new color. If my color stops moving when I'm working on my paper, I will grab some additional water also. So I'm going to go in a little bit more into the yellow area. I do want to keep it as a highlight, but I don't want it to be very, very strong without harsh edges around it. So I'm just going to add in this green to kind of blend that area out. Give it a little more texture, add those feathers in. Coming in and drawing this green down. Grab my brush, add some water, pinch it off, pick up my color, and continue moving on. The nice part about watercoloring in this way is that your project dries really fast. I generally will not need to pull out my dryer and dry my project because it is such a quick, fast project. It dries super, super fast. All right, I do want to go back in and add a little bit more of this yellow, push that green back just a hair, brighten up that face. Wonderful. And I'm not cleaning my brush in between because a little bit of yellow and a little bit of orange on this gorgeous little beak is perfect. I do see little feetsies popping out down here. I know it's more like a penguin to have the orange feet, but it's just speaking to me, so that's what we're going to do. Look at this little guy. Just really cute, simple, and fast. Now, if for some reason you don't like those lines and that texture, I'm going to dip my brush in again, pinch it off, and I've got just a wet brush at this point, and I'm just going to come through and blend those colors down. I do, again, like to try to leave some of that white in there. I love a white highlight. I love coloring outside the lines. My day job is more technical. I'm an IT data analyst, so I spend a lot of time working on Excel spreadsheets and numbers, and it's very exact and precise. For me, watercolor is the opposite of that. It's very free, it's very flowing, it's very simple and easy. You do color outside the lines, you don't color everything in, you leave white space, and that is what adds the beauty to watercolor. So for me, this little guy is all done. I love the feather technique that's in here. I love the flicking. I blended that down a little bit, but you can still see the white. You can still see the highlight areas. It's darker underneath the neck. It's darker underneath the little feathers here, but we do have that white still in there. So that is our card for here. And what I've chosen to do with this card is I brought in a paper line. It's from Brass and Bliss. And it is a gorgeous background. It is pre-done for me, which I love. The background is done here. So we're just going to let this do the work. And even the back. Look at the back. The back is absolutely gorgeous. There are times when I want to take time and blend a background and do a lot of work. There are other times when I just want to find a beautiful paper line and bring it together. I also am one that generally loves a white outline, but for this one, we're going to go a full card front. I am just going to burnish this down utilizing my Teflon bone folder from Trinity Stamps. Binding that glue together. I then have this little piece of brown here. I'm going to add glue, and for this one I'm going to add glue just around the center because I'm going to be tucking in some little leaves here. So I'm going to put that down and I'm going to leave it very lightly. I've got these gorgeous leaves from our leaf die set. And I'm just going to come in with my glue press. And I'm going to tuck these leaves right underneath. Again, that's why I glued it just down the center. It gives me the ability to come in and tuck a little bit under. I love this precision glue press because you can get very exact, very small areas when you're adding glue, which is wonderful, especially in this instance. Now, I don't like making scraps. But when I do, I use them for little pieces like this. So I went through and I pulled out some of my white scraps. And that's what I did for my first layer. And then I have some gorgeous little glitter paper that I'm going to be adding. I like to try to find ways to use up all of our scraps. Try not to leave any behind. I will be putting out some additional videos for scrap cards. You can find some of those on my site already. And that is just a way to use up the scraps that we have. This here is contact paper. So this is just a wood grain contact paper so I can peel off the back. You can find that in any of your hardware stores, any of your craft stores. Just a quick little contact paper. Finding different uses for products. One of the things that we love. Just peeling this off. And tucking it under. Then I have just these gorgeous little bronze leaves, a little bit different. I pulled two of the leaves from our leaf die set. And I thought it just went very well with this paper set, this paper line. I left a little hole here for our little chick. And I'm going to come in with our Pear Blossom Press foam tape. This is a double height foam tape. It is repositionable for up to 30 minutes. So you can come in and place that down and then come back and pull that right back up. Doesn't tear your paper. It is amazing for when you make oopses and put things in the wrong spot and need to reposition. It is permanent after 24 hours. It is, like I said, double the height. And the backing paper comes off like a dream. It is literally so easy. I don't have to go and pull my pokey tool to pull this backing off. It just peels off like butter. So I'm going to take my little birdie here, my little chick. She's so adorable. And place her down. And that is our card. And guess what? I actually put the card on upside down. So I will get that fixed. I will go through, trim off the bottom, and place this on top of another card. I know we all do that. I love it. good reason to double check before you paste it down. But with that, this is our Birds of a Feather stamp set by Pajama Krafter Stamps. Absolutely gorgeous set. I have done some other cards with this set, so check out my channel over the next few weeks. Check out my Instagram, and you will be able to see some of these gorgeous cards. You can follow me at Nerdy Krafter, and that's Krafter with a K. I'm a little bit of a nerd, and spelling's not my forte. Or you can see some of these gorgeous cards on the Pajama Krafter site. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you later. Bye.